Hey guys, it's Nailbiter, and I've got another World of Tanks video here. This is a pretty awesome round that I had with the E-75, actually just yesterday, for a couple different reasons, which you'll see at the end of the round. The E-75 is probably considered to be one of the better tanks in the game, just tier for tier. It's got pretty solid armor and a nice gun with the 128mm, which I actually just recently unlocked. So I haven't played too many rounds with this particular gun, but with that combination, it's really a great tank for carrying teams, which is basically what you'll see me be doing here in this round on Steps and Counter, which is actually probably one of my favorite maps, combination of map and game mode to play in World of Tanks. I think the gameplay is generally pretty good, and it's an interesting map to play, I think, on this mode. I actually decided to go towards the cap zone here to start. I've actually started to do that more recently because I find that it's just really frustrating to lose on this map just when the enemy team sends more guys to the cap and ends up just capping out, even if you win that west side. So I've started to do this a little more often. Plus, I also find that, you know, if it's better to probably win the cap area instead of defeating the west, because if you can win over the cap zone, then you can set up and the enemy team has to come at you instead of you having to attack the enemy when they've already dug into defensive positions. So I just think this ends up working out better, and it certainly works out well in this round. There you saw me get a pretty lucky shot into the cupola of the Tiger II, and when that shot went in, I felt like this definitely could be a pretty good round. You know, it felt like RNG was on my side. So a pretty good start. I should mention, I don't have the top engine on this tank, so it's a little sluggish, and that's why it takes me so long to actually get over here. But I get into a nice position. One other thing that I should mention actually about this round is that there's no artillery. And so that was another reason that I figured it would be better to go over to the cap, because, you know, often if you have artillery, they can reset the cap if necessary. You know, even if you're not going to win the cap zone, they can still reset if the enemy tanks are spotted, often preventing them from capping out long enough for the rest of your team to actually make it over there. But since there aren't any artillery in this round, I figured it'd be just more the reason for me to go over here and just try to help my team out. And you know, if we do lose this side, then at least I wasn't fighting on the other side, because I think there's nothing more frustrating than losing by a cap out. So and I'm trying to push up here and avoid that T-95. I was a little nervous when I saw him when I spotted him over there, and luckily he bounced off me. So I'm moving up, trying to use the ridge here to my advantage as cover from the T-95, and also just trying to get some shots on these other tanks over here without exposing too much of my tank. So there I was actually aiming at the T-34's cupola, but I ended up killing the Tiger II behind him instead, which is probably just as well. It's always good to take enemy tanks out of the game. And this is a nice spot here, actually. It's good for just poking up over the edge of the ridge without actually exposing too much of my tank. It's particularly good if you have better gun depression, but I'm able to make it work here. And I also noticed that Lorraine was reloading there, so I was a little more aggressive here than I might otherwise be. I got the kill shot on the T-34 and his cupola, because I had a good angle sort of down onto the top of it, and I was pretty confident that that shot would go in. Plus I knew the T-95, which there I just spotted again, didn't have a shot on me there, so I felt confident that I would be able to go across and get the kill. Now at this point, we're down 4 tanks, and I'm definitely worried about that T-95. I think he could be a bit of a problem. And although I haven't actually taken any hit points of damage yet, so I know that I can afford to take some shots if I have to. But I want to get this Lorraine out of the game, because you actually can't see it here in the replay, but he is a decent player. He was a pretty good player, so I wanted to try to kill him. Plus it's one less tier 9 that I have to deal with. Now I'm trying to just back up behind this dune and get behind cover as quickly as possible again. I really want to deal with as few of these tanks as possible at a time, I don't want to get surrounded and overwhelmed. And this ridge is actually helping me out a lot here, with allowing me to pick enemies off one at a time, basically at my leisure. So now here comes the T-95. He's pushing me. I'm taking a bit of a risk here by just exposing my side, but I wanted to be able to go back and forth just to try to confuse him. I go for the track shot there, and I actually hit him and do damage. I wasn't expecting that to do damage, but he repaired it, it looks like, so I ended up having to traverse over and face him really quickly. And fortunately, he ends up just tracking me, and I get another shot into the little cupola thing on top of his tank. I'm trying to just go back and forth here and try to juke him and mess up his aim so he doesn't know where to shoot exactly. And he bounces, and then I'm able to finish him off with another shot to his cupola. So I'm actually, I felt pretty fortunate to get out of that encounter without taking any damage at all. And now I'm feeling pretty good about this, because I know those tier 7 tanks aren't going to be able to pen me from the front. And the T-54 looked like he was reloading, so I'm just going to try to take him out as quickly as possible and just basically ignore the tier 7s for right now. IS-6 that is to my right at this point, it was kind of behind me the entire time there, is able to also get some shots into the sides of these guys, so I was glad that he was there just to kind of distract them and make them a little less willing to actually push me, because they knew that his gun was back there and that could do damage. I mean, with the alpha damage of the IS-6 can take away hit points pretty fast. And now it's just these tier 7s, and I'm not really worried at all about these guys. So I'm just going to take some easy shots. Now I see the T-34 that was in our base gets killed, so I know that there's an E-50 and a T-25-2 still alive, although I see them still spotted there on the minimap. And this Pug Prince just keeps tracking me, and that's all he can do. And he's too slow to actually really flank me. So actually I've got 7 kills now. I got a Top Gun already. And I tell the IS-6 here to get on cap just to make sure that they have to come over in our direction. And now I just really want to set up in a position so that I can intercept them when they try to make their way over here. Since I know where they were last spotted, I have a sense of where they're going to be coming from. And so I turn around and start to head back towards where we spawned, and sure enough, there's the T-25-2, he gets spotted. I take a little extra time to zoom in on that shot, and I get the kill. Now I'm not quite sure if the E-50 is going to be coming from the same direction. I thought he could be coming around the flank and trying to flank, so I didn't want to push up too far there and give him just an easy pathway around the flank. And I'm fortunate there that I actually spot him. I think he was trying to do exactly that, but his cupola or turret just stuck up a little bit over the ridge, and I was able to spot him. And he bounces, and I can see him backing off now, so I'm just decided to go after him. I mean, he's at pretty low health anyway, so it should be a pretty easy kill. I'm not really sure why the IS-6 decided to get off the cap there, but it doesn't end up really costing us. I'm not really sure what the E-50 was trying to do. He seemed like he wanted to try to shoot me, but he didn't at the same time didn't really look like he wanted to engage me either, so I don't know if he probably should have just either run away or just gone at me and tried to circle me or something. Now, just a matter of finishing him off. I think he gets stuck on this rock, and I'm able to get the last kill. So 9 kills, just over 5,000 damage in this round, and I get a steel wall. And what I thought was kind of interesting was I didn't actually take any hit points at all in damage that entire round. I took 21 hits, but no hit points in damage, and over 6,000 potential damage taken. So it was a pretty good round. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you